Welcome to Happily Ever Aftermath,
the podcast where we discuss relationships in movies and our relationships with them.
I'm Polina Grunbaum.
And I'm Diana Rojek-Sconard.
Hello.
Hey there.
How are you today?
I'm doing good, and for some reason I decided I wanted an extra challenge for this particular episode.
You do?
Oh, well, no, I don't.
You did?
I did. Like, past me decided that, hey, Diana, let's do some Shakespeare.
I love past you.
Well, Shakespeare is all well and good, but for some reason I wanted to make it even worse and have some dental work done this morning. So I'm going to be doing Shakespeare while half of my face is still healing.
So kind of like Keanu Reeves.
Oh, damn it. You know what? You know what? I told Ryan this, that it's in my notes. No easy Keanu jokes.
Those notes were never given to me, so I am free.
He is stoic and talented, and I will not make the whoa jokes. And making reference to the whoa jokes does not count.
Okay.
All right.
Doesn't?
Let the record state.
Okay, we will not waste time. We have a lot to discuss.
Let the record state.
Mm-hmm.
It was not me.
It was not you. I fully admit to the cheap Keanu references.
Welcome to Much Ado About Nothing, 1993.
Yes.
Yes, to all of you wondering when we were going to tackle some Shakespeare. Why?
Why were you wondering that?
Okay, so Much Ado About Nothing. Thank you, Google search, with the first option coming up here. In this Shakespearean farce, hero Kate Beckinsale and her groom-to-be Claudio, Robert Sean Leonard, team up with Claudio's commanding officer, Don Pedro, Denzel Washington.
Oh, yes.
You know what? Now's the time for you to get a notebook to start writing all of this down because, all right. So, okay, they team up.
It's not as complicated as being John Malkovich.
Okay, so hero Claudio and Don Pedro team up the week before their wedding to hatch a matchmaking scheme. Their targets are sharp-witted duo Benedick, Kenneth Branagh, and Beatrice, Emma Thompson. Let's pause for Emma Thompson. Okay.
Always pause for Emma Thompson.
Okay.
And Kenneth Branagh, you know.
No, I'm still pausing for Emma Thompson. Okay.
Hi, Emma.
A tough task indeed, considering their corresponding distaste for love and each other. Meanwhile, meddling Don John, the aforementioned Keanu Reeves, plots to ruin the wedding. Okay, go.
And then he, this is like very typical, like Shakespeare, like all Shakespeare farces. You're like, that seems awfully complicated. So yeah, so
and that doesn't even
he attempts to ruin the wedding.
Yeah, and that's like even beforehand. It's not just he attempts to ruin the wedding. It's just like, I'm angry. Let's mess with everyone always.
Yeah, and he just. There's no thought. He never has any consequences. He actually leaves before he ruins the wedding. So should we should we spoil the ending? Something that was written in 1582, I think.
Doesn't matter.
I think I'm off.
No, I said 1993.
Yeah, the movie was written in 1993.
So no. There are absolutely consequences. Denzel Washington stared at him with a very, very angry look.
That would be terrifying.
If my own father can haunt me with a look, can you imagine staring down the barrel of Denzel Washington's "I don't like you" look? Men have died.
Yes, but I kind of feel like I don't think we've added that to our list of cruel and unusual punishments for people. Maybe we should, and maybe we really need our justice system is broken. But
it's already broken. But
yeah,
let's not even. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to fix it with the Denzel Washington, though. It might be good for smaller early offenses, small thefts, maybe just not completely ruining someone's life.
I know that 8-year-old me is very upset and distraught right now. Keanu, why would you make him look at you like that? Oh, that's right. I'm angry. That is my character.
He's very he's kind of, I don't know what his problem is.
He's a bastard.
He is
Polina.
A terrible, terrible human being.
No. He's literally a bastard. That's why he's not.
That's true. Okay, sorry.
They refer to him as the bastard brother.
See, did I pick the wrong time not to be literal? I did. I picked. Usually it's like, no, I'm not being literal, and this time I'm like,
you didn't put on your not being literal quotes.
No, I did not.
Okay, so let me see if I can get this straight. You made the Keanu joke. You decided to not listen to me when I called him a bastard. Okay, I'm just earning our explicit tag. Bastard.
Bastard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me see if I can get this straight because there's so much going on right now.
Do you want me to explain?
This is my choice.
Yes.
Allow me to just kind of give you some basic beats here. How the hell did this movie get on my radar? Because I'm
really curious.
I'm not a big Shakespeare person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like my obsession with like Pride and Prejudice came in my later years. I remember writing like a borderline manifesto about how Pride and Prejudice was basically Sweet Valley High for those times.
Yeah.
That's
pretty accurate. Or
for teenage me, it absolutely.
No, I think you're right.
For teenage me, it was, but I suddenly realized, I should probably read this instead of just like reading the first line, taking it literally, and be like, fuck this book. But again, I'm just damn it.
Yeah, you have so many feelings about Pride. But why are the two together in your head then?
Oh, because this movie was introduced to me because. So sad. I have two specific memories of it. Number one, I would watch anything that Robert Sean Leonard was in.
Oh, that totally makes sense.
And
we were having a similar conversation with one of our listeners yesterday about Robert Sean Leonard.
I love Robert Sean Leonard.
Yes. Well, I mean, you're only human.
It started with Neil.
He was
in Dead Poets Society. And then for some reason
we're doing that movie, even though there's no love. We're doing it.
As much as Newsies, there's enough to work with.
I think there's
plenty to work with.
You're right.
You go a running with Ethan Hawke.
I don't remember any of the.
Wait, no, it was me, Josh Charles, in Dead Poets Society. I went on my Josh Charles train.
Oh, that's what started the Josh Charles train.
Yeah, so the Josh Charles train, and then like the Robert Sean Leonard train, and then I was never on the Ethan Hawke train.
Yeah.
Were you on the Ethan Hawke train?
Oh, I was so deep on the Ethan Hawke train.
Okay, so far.
We will get there.
Yeah. He's actually on a train
I was actually on a train with Ethan Hawke, is how far on the Ethan Hawke train I was.
Okay, so you drop these little pearls, and I just want to throw them at you and then say, I know you know everyone somehow.
I don't know everyone. I just was on a train with Ethan Hawke. There's like millions. There's probably thousands of people who've been on a train with Ethan Hawke.
Have I been stared at by Denzel Washington? No.
Have I been stared at by Denzel Washington?
Don't change the subject about Ethan Hawke.
Okay, when we get to an Ethan Hawke movie, I'm sure I will tell every...
We can't do Training Day on this. Ethan Hawke, Denzel Washington. He totally looks at Ethan Hawke that way.
He does look at
I imagine. Okay, I'm sorry.
Woo! Oh my... We went to a really strange almost fanfic moment there. Okay,
really quick. In an attempt to not keep going off on a Denzel tangent, there's this amazing podcast. They're not doing any new episodes, but it's called Denzel Washington is the Greatest Actor of All Time, period. And I wholeheartedly recommend you go listen to that podcast. It's W. Kamau Bell and Kevin Avery, and it's amazing. Go.
I'm just going to add that actually almost W. Kamau Bell has a bunch of podcasts, and they are all really great, including a CNN show. But again, going back to Keanu. Robert Sean Leonard, Denzel Washington.
Yes. So, okay, this came on my radar, and I was trying to pinpoint it because the note that I wrote down was, prior to my junior year of high school, I took a beginning acting class, and the teacher was talking about, we were doing Shakespeare because we had to pick a monologue. I picked mine from King Lear because everyone was going to do Hamlet. So I said, I'm not going to do Hamlet. I'm not going to do Romeo and Juliet. Let's try King Lear because I remembered an episode of the TV show Just Shoot Me making allusions to it. So I went for it. And for some reason, the conversation came up with the teacher. If you ever want to see Keanu Reeves do horrible, acting in Shakespeare, I'm like, wait, when did Keanu Reeves do Shakespeare?
We can do that? That can happen?
No, this movie, Much Ado About Nothing. I'm like, I've seen that movie many times. How did it never process that was Keanu Reeves?
How did it never process that? Maybe because I saw it when I was older.
I'm pretty sure because I fast forwarded through all the parts with Don John because he was just creating mischief and all I wanted to see was the reconciliation. Have we just met?
That's true.
Okay. Why am I yelling?
I don't know. Because we're both really excited today. So we're like super excited today. We have all this energy, unlike last time.
Let's see how well we can do this. Hero, Kate Beckinsale. She is the maiden of Don Leonardo. And only daughter, she stands to inherit his fortune. Don Pedro, Claudio, and Benedick are returning from a war, and they're going to be staying there for a month, and they're very excited about that. And so they come in there, and there's actually a moment where they ride in on the horses and go, yeah.
Well, yeah, because everyone's just super excited that the war is over and that people are coming back, and it's summer and they can have a bacchanal.
And if you are going to watch this movie for the first time, be warned that in the first 10 minutes, there is frolicking and nudity. Yes. That before I got started with the movie, Rango's just like, that's the one where there's all the nudity in the beginning. And I'm like, oh crap! I
didn't even notice that. I noticed.
You didn't notice when they announced that Denzel was coming and everyone started stripping and jumping into the water. Okay, that was really real.
That was. Well, that just seemed like a normal reaction. Like if somebody was like, "Oh, Denzel, you're gonna party with Denzel Washington," I'd be like, first off, gotta be clean, gotta shave the legs.
But then. They all, like, even the soldiers he's coming with just join in the frolic. You know, that was so funny is that you notice the people who are not frolicking. Denzel Washington.
Oh, he doesn't frolic.
Duh. And actually, I wrote that there. Denzel does not frolic.
Oh my God, he does.
It's in my notes.
I love that.
But then on the second, yes, I stole that joke from Denzel Washington is the greatest actor of all time, period, podcast. Let's give credit where credit is due. But it's true. But also,
he does not
frolic. Keanu does not frolic either. And I mean, no. And that's perfectly fine. But
no, because he's too busy being a bastard.
Well, okay. So, do you think they have their own little? Because it's the prince and the prince's brother. So, do you think they have their own designated frolic quarters where they can frolic in private?
I think frolic in private,
dignified frolicking.
It's the kind of thing where you don't want, to you want to maintain your air of authority, and you don't want to be seen like you want to let your hair down. You don't want to be seen as an example. You need a place to unwind. That's why we have clubs.
So
I guess.
Okay, so continuing the actual
battery. That's why we have the battery. That's what I assume goes in there.
I have to remind everybody that this was written in a time where women were property.
Yes,
and so. Instantly, there is a love connection
and played by boys
between Claudio and Hero, and so he's just like, I'm in love with her, and of course here comes Kenneth Branagh like, bah, I'll forever be a bachelor, blah blah blah, Shakespearean language that's really like poetry-esque. Why would you want to marry her? And then Denzel Washington's like, hey, let's make this happen, So the idea is
they like really relish. They're like, I mean, they all clearly adore each other. Like all of the soldiers, they've killed together. They've killed together. They've been through a war together. It brings you closer, and they were probably obviously very aware of each other's foibles. And like most Shakespearean farces, like are kind of based on a certain knowledge of the other of people and their foibles. Okay. Like of your
because then it's just like
cohort.
That Benedick, he's never gonna marry and settle down.
Plus they talk about their relationship. They're like, they introduce their relationship, and it's basically them being like making fun of each other constantly. They even tell people, they're like, oh, so and so is coming. Yeah, she likes to mess with him.
Oh, Beatrice?
Yeah. Like they mention it in the beginning. That basically they have this relationship. So I think they're like...
Oh, isn't it a merry war of words between the two?
It's in fact a merry war of words.
Is it a merry war of words? Yeah, I don't do Shakespeare. Okay, so... Don Pedro, this is I love this. This is miniature scheme 1, and I don't even understand why it was necessary, but I think it was to fill the running time.
Well, and also like you need you have to do something. I mean, they're there for like a week, and they're in some town for months. Like you need some entertainment.
So Don Pedro
These
says
people have a lot of time. So much time.
They're just kind of sitting there, like listening to Beatrice read poetry while they say, "Hey, nonny, tralach." No, that's something else. There is some "Hey, nonny" going on there.
There's some "Hey, nonny," because that song is like it's spoken, it's sung again.
It ends the movie. Yeah, so
it's the one song in the
Don Pedro. There's a masquerade evening, which I kind of want to have a masquerade. Ball.
Did you went to a company I work at with our esteemed producer is we had a masquerade ball.
Yeah, but let's be honest, we were allowed no. There were masks for when we were at the photo booth.
No, it was like a full on wear a mask.
You're right.
You maybe when after he left, but
no.
But we actually I remember this is the one where I had flown in from New Zealand and I couldn't sleep, and so
got all sweaty
bought a cat.
You bought a cat?
I bought a cat thing.
That sounds so
like
funny.
A cat mask, like last minute.
I do remember this.
Literally on my way. I was like,
Oh, okay. Well, then I.
So please invite me to something where I can wear a half mask that is a cat, please.
I think I definitely still have my mask. You can, if you were throwing a masquerade ball, hit us at contact@HEAMCast.com.
HEAMCAST. We're getting good.
We already have the masks.
We do.
Okay, so he is going to wooed fair hero as his own, and then once
somebody who's not into Shakespeare, you remember a lot more of these quotes than I have, and I've seen this play a bunch of times
on behalf. So if I were a hero, I'd be kind of pissed. The prince has asked me to marry him. Oh, he's handing me off to that guy. Well, he was cute when I saw him, so yay.
Yeah, I didn't. Okay,
why was that necessary?
I don't know why it was necessary, but I think it was just that weird thing of like Shakespeare farces where they just like they're like, people don't seem to communicate clearly, therefore. These problems would be solved if people just talk to one another.
You have just stated every rom-com thesis.
Well, this is
podcast
the thing.
over.
If you think about it, this is.
Have you tried communicating?
Have you just tried asking? Says Polina.
And then I've noticed that if it turns out people communicated in movies, there would just be no movie.
There would be no movie.
No,
there would be like My Dinner with Andre.
But
they didn't really communicate. They just talked.
Shout out to Wallace Shawn.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So
you're right. Then it would just be an industrial video of how to like function well.
I don't want to watch that.
No,
okay.
You're right. Okay, let's go back to then. Maybe we should just own the fact that this is insane.
Well, no, we haven't even gotten to like more of this, and we're about. Oh God. Okay. So Hero is going to marry Claudio. Don John, with his very sour expression, has decided, no, I don't like happiness. So let's ruin this.
I think he doesn't like Claudio.
Well,
he basically wants to mess with Claudio because Claudio is
like Don Pedro's favorite.
Yeah.
Like they're okay. So here's the hard part. He tries to mess with that even before the proposal goes well. He tries with the mask on. He's trying to pretend that he doesn't know that Claudio is the one he's talking to.
Yeah, the first thing he tries to do is mess with Claudio and be like, "Oh, yeah, that guy, he's not so good. He's actually he's not wooing her on your behalf.
He's totally going to take her for himself."
I kind of kept waiting for like more, which is ridiculous. I don't know why I was waiting for this. I've seen this play. I was still like, wait, but like a little more that wooing part. But I think I just wanted to see Denzel Washington woo, and I can't remember if it got cut in this or what. Well, maybe I've seen it. And I don't remember. It's been a really long time.
So Emma Thompson, there was these conversations. She talks about how she's going to be single, and men, when they're made of something more than metal. I can't get the damn
basically
stuff.
Like when they're young, yeah, she's basically like when they're young, like when they're young they're kind of ridiculous, and then but when they're older, like it's just too much.
When you have seen this 15 times and actually know what's going on, the dialogue is fantastic.
Well, this is the thing. I actually I hope I don't forget this, but I was going to save this to the end, but I did see this twice.
Okay. And
so the first time I watched it like just on a random, Saturday night, and I can't remember if I did the subtitles or not. I might have, just so I can like remember, or just sometimes I do, but the second time I saw it, because I haven't read or seen this play in years, I did watch it with subtitles, and I had to force myself to concentrate on the actors. I was like, this is great. This is so funny.
It's really good.
Like, it's really funny. Like, I just really enjoy it. So I would actually highly recommend, because the first time it just felt like, I felt like it was whiplash. Like, it moves really fast.
Really
like,
does.
And I feel this way when I see like a lot of like Shakespeare farces, is like, I'm like, oh my God, wait, now? Okay.
Fortunately, there's a lot of scenes where people say something, they're saying it in a big crowd. So when Beatrice and Benedick are bouncing back and forth, whenever they pause, everyone just goes like, ooh.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of feedback. And then they do tell you, like, the structure is such that it's like, it's kind of like, like reality TV where like something happens and then somebody else will sort of sum it up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's handy. It's like not confusing at all. It's just that you're like,
oh no, it's confusing.
you're like, a lot is happening, and there's a lot of montages.
Well,
I've written down
not as many as there could be.
Bathing montage.
Oh, I don't consider that
mask
a montage.
montage.
I don't consider that a montage.
The in love montage. Oh, that was such a mask montage. Was not a montage.
I don't consider it a montage. I consider it just like a musical interlude.
All right.
Yeah.
I guess that's fair.
The same way I don't consider.
I was going to argue, but then I'm like, no, I think you might be right.
Well, no. If it was a montage, I would be totally geeking out about it. And if this was a musical, I would totally be angry about it. So we're right in the middle.
Oh, so it's a musical interlude. That's how we know.
Right in the middle.
Are you angry about it? Are you obsessed about it? If not, it's probably a musical interlude.
I'll tell you what I'm angry about.
What?
Okay, so after the whole first time John tries to break it all up, he decides, well, that didn't work. Hey, I know what. Let's try something else. And he manages to get his second in command with his second in command's idea to stage to where he's having sex with Hero's handmaiden, friend,
handmaiden
in the window while he is saying her name while Claudio is downstairs witnessing the whole thing, thus breaking them up, but not breaking them up to where Don Joan actually manages to convince him, no, you need to make sure that you shame her in front of everybody at your wedding tomorrow. And so smash cut to the wedding.
Oh my God.
Holy crap, this wedding. I have a second line that I have to make sure happens, but that'll come later in there. So let's see if I can get this straight. Let's just move past all the flowery language. He's basically just like, no, I don't take her. And there's a couple of lines where people are laughing. And then, so what, who marries these two? And Claudio's just like, no. And then Leonardo comes in and it's just like, no, Friar, you're marrying them. He's here to be wed. And everyone's like, oh, that's probably what they meant. And they keep going. He's just like, no.
And then he just goes ballistic.
He totally starts throwing the pews down.
He's getting rid of there's no hope, but he's like getting rid of those flowery things in the middle. He's screaming and yelling at her and basically, and then attacking her father.
I think he pulls her hair, or her father does.
He her father pulls her hair.
And you've got her.
But Beatrice actually has to physically. She goes, go away. Like she basically has to physically restrain him. He does this he's had opportunities.
Yep. To not do these things.
Or maybe, I don't know, ask her.
Oh, she's just gonna lie. Why would he ask her? He saw it. He saw it with his own eyes. And there's no way that it could have not have been exactly what he saw, except it really wasn't.
It wasn't at all.
It wasn't, no.
She had her back, and they have similar hair.
Yep.
Not right.
Case closed.
Just ask.
Oh, actually, also...
Well, I guess then
the guy was saying, her name out the window as it was happening.
That is true.
Does not help.
No. I mean...
Evidence, solid.
Yes. He did have solid evidence, but I feel like that was maybe the wrong way to go about it. Speaking of things that were not right. So
this marriage is going to go so well.
Oh, it's going to be beautiful.
The best.
They have so much. They have such a strong foundation.
They have so much in common.
They do. You know that because they've spent
trust.
Maybe. Yeah. Trust. Clearly their communication.
They smile really bigly.
They do. They're both.
Bigly?
You just said bigly.
I just said bigly.
Do you want me to edit this?
They smile widely. They have very white teeth for this time period.
They both have incredible bone structure.
They are
they have great eyes and incredible bone structure.
They're not Italian, despite them being in. Wait, no. Where are we? Are we in Spain or are we in Italy?
They are in Italy.
Woo! They're so Italian.
Yeah,
I don't know what's.
I assume right I don't know. That doesn't. Even matter.
No, that's irrelevant.
Okay, so
let's go back to the other part where he decides to shame her, and it's so sad because you see the actual.
And everyone's super excited to be at a wedding. I just want to say,
you see Margaret, the one who actually was the one up there that night, like freaking out. Oh, before I forget, Dolores Umbridge and Gilderoy Lockhart and Professor Trelawney from Harry Potter are all in this movie.
They're saying it's a three
Harry
wizard.
Potter.
It's a 3 wizard movie.
I wouldn't be surprised if there were more hanging out in the background, a random, just Robbie Coltrane hanging out on set.
I think they would feature it. I did see that it said 3, and I was like, I knew all of them. I was so proud.
Yeah.
So
okay. So
then
sure enough, there's anger, and then. Hero's father believes it and casts her out and just says like, why would you do this to me? And either he pulls her, somebody pulls her hair.
No, I think it was him.
Oh, which him?
Sorry, her father.
Her father, yeah. Okay, so
Leonardo.
Donatello, Washington,
played by the amazing Richard Briers.
He's
so good in that.
He's pretty cool. Although I did have some problems. Where do I know you? And I kept flipping through. No. And then ultimately, I think I may have mixed him up with another actor who played Santa Claus in Ernest Saves Christmas. I think it's the fact that they're very jolly is not the right word, but let's be honest, we're talking Santa Claus.
Yeah, he's kind of a he's avuncular.
What?
Avuncular.
No,
he's avuncular. He's like,
did we learn nothing from
like
truculent?
I don't know. I'm gonna list. Avuncular's like it's like sort of jolly and like friendly in that warm sort of Santa Claus way,
or a grandpa.
Kind of like a grandpa. I don't want to paint like all grandpas, but yeah, like I said a good grandpa. Yeah. I mean,
okay. All right. So
like a typical grandpa. A typical grandpa is avuncular.
So bless the friar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said it that way for a reason. Who said, "All right, your daughter. This is not the way this happened. Mm-hmm. They left. What if she did die? Because they just left her." And she had passed out and all this other stuff. She
fainted.
She fainted, yeah. And so the friar decided to let
worst wedding day ever.
I wonder if I could. Okay, not in the time that we have, but I bet you I could totally like come up with.
I think there were probably worse. Of course, I'm just saying, not really bad
for the time frame. Not great wedding. So
worst wedding of 1582. I think it's 15.
Doesn't matter. It's still funny. So he decides. The truth will come out. So let's say, yes, she is dead. And then when the truth does come out, it's pretty much just like, Claudio's going to be really upset when he finds out that he just totally crapped on his fiance. Yeah. And it turns out that everything that she doth protest because it's true. So let's hide her for a little while. And when the truth comes out, he's so messed up.
He's going to be indebted to her for life. And that's a great way to start a marriage.
Yep. And the whole time that this is happening, in this really upset thing, they're unbeknownst. Well, okay. So while this is happening, before all this happened, Hero and Don Pedro and Leonardo and Claudio have decided to put these little ideas in Beatrice's and Benedick's head. So Emma Thompson and Kenneth Branagh, that, while they have a little sparring verbal competition among one another, I bet you we could totally get them to fall in love with each other.
That's the thing. It's like a total, like for them, it's just fun. It's like, I know we can do this. It's like a little challenge, like a little practical joke.
And they even declare that if we can get this to happen, then, Cupid could step down. We are the gods of love now. Yeah. Okay, that would be really cool.
Oh my God, if Denzel Washington.
No, if you could just claim to be the god of love. I made these two people fall in love.
I feel like so much responsibility.
No, I'm having fun this weekend.
You're enjoying? Okay.
You go. I am Tinder now.
Oh my God. I kind of just want, not Tinder. Like just not something Tinder. Else. Maybe like, I haven't dated.
I'm gross now. Okay.
You're not Tinder. You're like.
Blender?
What is Grindr is the one you're
okay.
I think.
Okay. Damn it, Shakespeare.
Well, seriously, it's that. I feel like it's not inappropriate. Well, I mean, he's sort of like, there's a lot of like bodiness.
Okay, so Much Ado About Nothing.
Nothing refers to.
Please fill in that blank.
Nothing refers to a woman's, vagina, basically.
Shakespeare's gross.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, it's also, yeah.
Is this about like your annual gynecological exams or something?
No, it's like
Much Ado About Your Deductible.
Yeah.
About nothing.
Much ado.
My mouth is still numb, people.
I've got
there's a lot of brain.
I understand that.
Sorry. Okay. So all it takes is, did you hear that Benedick's in love with Beatrice? There's like some, freaking Benny Hill style, covert moving around, listening to what people are saying and back and forth. And, Claudio is talking to Pedro and Benedict is walking around and he hears what it says, and that's
like
it just creates these monologues of just like, what? Me?
And then he's like, wait, I should listen to the people who know me best.
I am in love with her. And the same thing with her, she's just like, what? And it's just, as much as I think like, this is freaking ridiculous, but
it's kind of not.
No, I'm buying it.
Because they do already have this relationship that binds them together. And I also, like, in a weird way, I've totally had crushes on people because somebody said, hey.
So are they 12? Is this the playground? Oh, it is the playground.
It's the playground.
Oh my God.
And also, I mean,
so it's bad to point out like one of them pulls the other's hair and then runs away. Oh no, that's no good.
I think that happened. It might have happened in the frolicking, in the midst of the frolicking.
No, it happened at the wedding when he called her.
Oh yeah, that's true.
How quick we forget, Polina.
Oh my God,
sorry. Okay, so watching this when I was younger, I will tell you that clearly I did not watch the hair pulling and the angriness. I definitely watched the other parts of it.
Which part? So which of the two couples?
We're not there in the story yet. What's really funny is that at the time I wasn't interested in Beatrice and Benedict because I think they were too smart for me,
or they were just older and they're like. It didn't quite make sense. Too.
It didn't make sense.
Right? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's like, why would they hate each other?
Well, if anything, that is prime for me. That's like perfect because it just like, it can happen to these people who you swear. I mean, come on, how is that not the ultimate rom-com?
That's actually a total. That is also 12-year-olds. Like, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
You're constantly realizing that you like somebody because
you totally smack them on the playground and then get suspended. What?
Yeah.
What? Okay. Oh, no. Okay.
What?
Okay. So after that happens, the friar totally, puts the plan into place. There's confrontations, but nothing really happens. And because Benedict and Beatrice are now in love, she gives this amazing monologue about how she's, how is this allowed to happen? This is my kinswoman and I can do nothing. Oh, if I were a man.
Yeah.
And it's just, I thought it would be different because I did watch
because she's like, if it's a man, it's a man's world. And it means nothing.
Yep. The 2012 version of Much Ado About Nothing,
which I realized I didn't see. How did I miss this?
Well, if we're ever really, really in a pinch, I'll assign it, and then
there we go.
Because that's the one I watched a lot recently, and the language is, of course, the source is exactly the same. It just happens to be in modern times. So, I thought that I would love. After seeing Amy Acker's portrayal of it, I thought, like, I don't know if I'll like Emma Thompson's. No, it's still great. It's still very
they're
good.
Both amazing. Emma Thompson is so great in this.
Yeah, and I'm surprised I don't have more Emma Thompson, watched movies on my list.
Yeah, Emma Thompson, this was she was a big one for me.
Coming soon, Sense and Sensibility, but not right away because
that's the other one.
I'm putting that in the queue of not now.
There's a guest who might want to do that.
I have many guests who want to do that.
Yeah.
Don't write that down.
We might have to have a month.
No, we might. We might have to have a match to the death.
Ooh.
I don't know who your people are, but I'm rooting for mine. Anyways, so she's saying, they admit each other that they love each other. So, I love thee. What do you want me to do? And she just says it without even hesitating. Kill Claudio. And I'm like, whoa, do it.
Yeah,
totally. Except, your cousin's still in love with him. So that kind of sucks.
Also, he's like, he's also one of my closest friends.
I love how quickly he backpedaled.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of proud of him for that. I'll do anything for you. Kill him. About that.
Yeah. Except that one. I thought I would do anything for you. And then she kind of convinces him, like, well, you need to do something. She's like...
He agrees. In fact, he didn't see it, so it was very easy for him. He was the one that made the connection, just like, this is so against a character that, you guys know better than this. Where is this coming from? No, we saw it with our own eyes. Well, what happened? Mm-hmm. We were walking and this is what happened. I'm just like... And you don't see this kind of interesting outlier in this, Yeah. And that's when he says it. It's the John the Bastard did it. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, hello. But I already know what's happening. So, of course, it's easy for me to point that out.
Hindsight.
It's interesting that he's the cool-headed one in that whole situation. Yeah. And while he notes that he's not going to kill his kinsman to Beatrice, he says, no, this is still messed up. I will challenge him. And I just think, oh.
And like, he's like, basically, I see you being in so much pain and I love you and I am going to do something. Like, I'm going to challenge him and I can't guarantee I'm going to kill him. I'm going to try to take care of it. And then he says, and this like really, oh my God, I really loved what he goes, go comfort your sister. I mean, your cousin. Like, go comfort her. Like, yeah. I know, I see you. Like, which is great. They just confessed their love to each other. And he's like, it's okay, because we got this. Like, now we've done it, and we're together. Like, he's not like, okay, forget about your cousin. Like,
this is our moment now.
Yeah, this is our moment. Like, he's like,
he's helping put this planet. Actually, go comfort your cousin. She has to be dead for me to go tell them that. Yeah. So go be with her because we have to isolate her. And so that happens, and how does this all coming together? Not the logic of people, realizing that John is behind all of this so much as the bumbling yet freaking awesome Michael Keaton comes into play.
This is a long-standing argument to Sean, my husband and I.
Oh, whether or not he's awesome?
I did not like but actually watching it the second time, I liked it more.
The character, no,
of course scene, the character.
Yeah.
But one of the scenes, he was fantastic. It just was weird because it was like too, I don't know. But anyway, regardless, like
too farcical?
Well, I guess he can't really be. It's a farce. Rewatching it, I kind of saw the genius of it. I just couldn't stop seeing him in it. Like, Michael Keaton. Maybe because I was like a Beetlejuice fanatic, but I was like, it's too like that.
Weird. Oh my God.
And I don't know if that got put in my head because I read a review and they were like, but
if you had told me that before I saw it.
Shake, senor.
Shake, shakes a spear. What? No, I was actually thinking, oh my God, if he had done that, just like, let it be known that I am an ass. You know what I mean?
It's true. Okay.
Wow.
Could have gone somewhere else. But yeah, you're right. The second time, maybe I was able to enjoy more. But I don't know. I have like a weird, sometimes like those relationships in Shakespeare farce are like those kind of the crazy.
I'm wondering, it's your relationship with Michael Keaton. You couldn't see him not be a different character.
Yeah, and it's weird because it's not like, anyway, it doesn't matter. I want to go back to it. But
okay.
It doesn't matter because it did not detract. I want to say I revisit that, but because I want to. So how does it all come together?
Oh, sure. So plot-wise or my life?
Let's quickly wrap up on the plot and then we'll move on to your life because I'm super curious about how you found this.
Well, okay. Okay, after the truth has been brought to light, the guy who was working with Don John confesses, and then Don John flees, and there's it's brought to light, and then Claudio, he is just like the friar said, he's not doing well.
No.
And so Leonardo has decided that in order for him to make amends to it, you killed my daughter, whatever, you will marry my brother's daughter, who is almost her identical.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, like, where was she this whole time? But he's so distraught, he buys it, so that's perfectly fine. And what I think is so great
Plus
is
he did agree to marry a woman he's known for maybe 3 hours.
So,
it's
I think
like,
it has more to do with the fact, like, wait a minute, where's this cousin at the wedding? Where have you been hiding her? So let's
you're right. Let's suspend disbelief
just for a minute here, just for a second. And he agrees to it. And I think it's really funny that the father says, like, what you will do is tomorrow you come to my house and you will marry her, but tonight you will mourn her and you will put a sign on her grave. And I wrote down, on her grave, would you please put up a gigantic sign that says not a whore?
Despite what I may have said, I want it to be known on her grave whenever anyone comes to think, oh my God, she was so sweet, she was lovely.
There's a rumor going around here that you may have heard of, that I shouted at her at our wedding that she was a whore. Well, it turns out.
And now she will live with this for the rest of her resting days.
But she's already dead, so.
Well, but the rest of everybody, like, it's kind of like it's like the worst thing that's ever happened to you being on your tombstone, and it just seems bad.
So let's get married. They come back. He comes back the next day. Leonardo decides to get 4 of them to put a veil over their face, and she's like, well, who am I supposed to marry? He's like, no, you are to take her now before you do any of that. And he kneels and said, I take you as my wife. And she
I can't have another fit.
Yeah, I know, right?
That would be a pattern. You do it once, it's like, oh, that was out of character. You do it twice, it's kind of like, it's kind of, I don't know if it's out of character.
Quick, before she takes off the veil and he calls her a whore.
Yeah.
So she takes it off. She reveals herself to be Hero, and she gives this beautiful thing that said, in my former life, I died, but as I come to you today, I'm reborn. But I tell you that in my former life, I was always a maid. So just so you know that even though you shamed me like crazy, I need to remind you that thing you thought I was, you were wrong. I am not a whore. I do.
So on her wedding, and
what's supposed to be her honeymoon?
What do they do with like the tomb after?
And he's so happy. He's just like, oh my god,
all's well that ends well.
Yeah, you're alive. Hooray. And that's what I watched all the time. I didn't really understand what was. No, that's the part where I was saying is that the part where, well, no, because in my fast forward version of it, it's just like, he's so distraught. She's gone, but now he gets her back. Hooray. And now that I know what's happening, I don't feel well right now.
You're like, what was I thinking?
No, I knew what I was thinking. Yay, he gets the girl and everyone's happy. Just look how happy they are at the end of the movie.
They're so happy.
Look how happy they are in this
so
movie.
Happy.
He gets all her money. She gets to be married to him and not.
She gets to be married to an officer. That's pretty good.
That's good. But afterwards, there is.
She has no interest in, which is pretty much a character flaw, I think.
She pretty much,
because I would have been bummed. I would have been like, Robert Sean Leonard, wow, really honored. But Denzel, even though he doesn't frolic.
Well, I don't. Well,
but
okay.
There is
this scene where Don Pedro is talking to Beatrice, and he even asked her, all seriousness, like, "Would you marry me?"
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what? Why is this not happening right now? And what she said, tremendous props to her as well.
Like,
she's like, I would if there were another one of you who would be there while you're working, which is basically like, no, you're the prince. You have all of the stuff that you need to do, and the wife that he would take, if any, would need to understand that I need if I were to get married, as much it would be cool to be married to you, I need
she
more.
says something about like, she's basically like, I need an everyday, I forget the exact line, but it's basically like, yeah, if I could have an every, like she basically says that he's like the fancy dress that she loves to put on, but basically she's like, but I need another one for everyday life. Like, I can't wear that all the time.
Going back to our episode about Austenland, where she's talking about like wearing the grounds there, and she's basically asked about it. It's beautiful, but it's like a corset. I like it, but you can't be comfortable in it.
Yeah.
So.
But you stand up straight.
I don't. Okay. no. Of course of course you like the way it looks, but it's very hard to be comfortable in. Who doesn't want that in a husband?
Yeah. A corset? Yeah.
No. You want to be comfortable with your husband.
No, nobody wants that.
Do you just want eye candy, or do you want comfort?
I feel like I picked that. Just kidding.
You can't have it all, Polina. You're not Hero who gets to have it all.
She gets to have Robert Sean Leonard
take her money.
Take her money and
be happy that she's not a whore.
Just so relieved that she's not dead or a whore.
I'm not.
Both not dead and not a whore.
I'd like to apologize to all the fans of Shakespeare.
I think all the fans of Shakespeare would approve. Maybe there's some lack of interest, but I think we're allowed to talk about this stuff.
But you got to give a little bit of credit to the fact that a character like Beatrice exists in this world. So,
but I mean,
I'm not giving Shakespeare credit. I'm saying Beatrice is awesome.
Beatrice is awesome, and there's a character like that in like a lot. There's some really cool female characters in a lot of Shakespeare farces. Oh, sure. So I'm gonna
they get to have their hair pulled and called a whore.
Yeah, they do actually. That's kind of one of the problems.
Is anyone on the whore counter yet? How many times have I said bastard? How many times have I said?
When I edit this episode,
ding.
I'm gonna ding.
Okay.
Okay. So tell me about so. You definitely were like super focused on
Robert Sean Leonard.
Yep.
Yeah.
And And that's the part of this movie that you watched over.
When I was younger, yeah. Again, it was just like these tiny pieces. You know, I don't like watching the drama. Let's go back to the happily ever after. Wait, there's another relationship going on right now? What's happening?
So was it, you just felt like they were, because, I mean, in a way, they're...
When you shave it down to just hilarious misunderstandings, when you don't watch the fact that he assaults her on the wedding day...
Then it's great.
Then it's just like, no, he got mad at her, but I didn't watch that part very well, so...
The combination of Robert Sean Leonard's floppy hair, eyes, and cheekbones...
His floppy eyes?
Well, sorry, floppy hair. Did I say...
No. You said his floppy hair, eyes.
I meant like his eyes.
Eats, shoots, and leaves.
Yes. Punctuation is important, as are nouns. And cheekbones is kind of an unbeatable. It's a combination that I think, you know, it takes a lot of self-control to
he's a pretty safe
past.
crush.
Yeah.
In at that age, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, spoiler alert for Dead Poet Society, he has a happy ending in this movie.
Yeah, not so much on that
No.
But watching it again, like, was Beatrice, like,
I find myself...
I was thinking of you a lot because I thought I saw a lot of you in Beatrice.
Oh, tell me more, because that sounds very flattering.
It's beautiful. No, she's well, I think that she's sort of, you know, she's very witty, which you are, and I think what I thought about is just like the kind of pleasure that you take in words, but also in reading poetry. Hey, nonny.
And by poetry, you mean movies, right?
Sure. I mean, at the time, film had not been invented. Movie cameras had not been invented. So who knows what you would have you would have been geeking out on. Like, it could have been something, it could have been poetry.
I do see myself, you know, back then.
She's really smart. She's sensitive about people. But she's also, just that whole thing that she has, the whole like way that she connects with Benedick is very, you know, it's just kind of that wordplay and that teasing and that kind of control, like, reminds me a bit of like you and Ryan.
And they, thanks. Oh. I'm smarter
than Beatrice.
No, than Kenneth Branagh. Actually, that's just my competitive nature coming out. Kenneth Branagh is smarter than me.
We don't know that. We actually have no idea. I don't think I'm as smart as Emma Thompson.
No, I will not put. You notice I went to Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah, no, I did. I know. I'm like, that was an interesting choice, but I think I know why.
So
yeah,
here's an interesting question. This should take, well, maybe not as long, but we don't have as much time. So when did they?
Plot is long.
When did they fall in love?
So what's the they?
The they. Well, I'm gonna throw you a curveball. You get both.
Yay!
Because for Hero and Claudio, it's just kind of like a timestamp of that, and then with Beatrice and Benedict, a little bit more complicated. But should I go first?
Sure.
I'm going to say that their puppy dog love. God, it's just so hard because it's just like in the very beginning, they just like were instantly smitten with one another, and then one was wooed by a prince, and just like, oh, but I get a consolation prize. Yeah, okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with.
But she wasn't. I mean, she knew he was being wooed like he was explaining like, this person likes you. He wasn't like, hey, I like you. You can have me, or you can have this loser.
Yeah, but the whole idea was I was going to woo her for myself, and that was the whole premise of what that whole thing was, as was my understanding of the dialogue. I mean, we don't actually hear the dialogue because it's from the whole Don John is trying to explain, oh, he's totally doing this. So you don't actually know what he says to her. So it might have been from the beginning, but the whole idea was, at the very least, he was going to tell her father that he was going to woo her and then hand him over to Claudio. Yeah.
I don't get that, but it doesn't matter.
I'm going to say that when she gets passed over...
in a matter of speaking,
there were gigantic hearts over their love.
So many hearts.
I'm gonna say that's their.
You're not seeing this is
that's their movie love, but yeah, I think
she's making big heart things in the air.
I think it's going to take their their bond that I hope that they have later on, because this is the 1500s, so she ain't going nowhere. I mean, if she actually does do something, he'll just stab her and then put on her tomb, how dare she. But what's going to happen is that they're going
or maybe he'll learn his lesson. He is young.
Of course not. He's not going to learn his lesson. Look at those cheekbones. He has nothing to learn. So I think what's going to happen, I'm doing a 1-2 punch right now.
All right.
Well, they fell in love. They're little, like, hey, tag, Claudio, you're in. That's their puppy dog love. Just like we get to get married. Hooray, hooray, hooray. So I think that's their moment of but their hardship that comes afterwards, that's just the growing pains of their continuous relationship, even though they were part of their love as it is. Afterwards, it's just going to be, they're going to like go off of their giddiness. But honestly, I think another war is going to happen. He's going to go off to war and he's going to die.
Oh,
sorry.
No, it's okay.
That's what's going to happen to them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. All right.
It's a waste of cheekbones.
I guess, yeah, that is a waste of cheekbones. But
everything.
I'm sure Kate, I'm sure that hero will find another man. Okay, so
I would have that thing on our grave framed.
I would have it. I would put it up so he would have to live with it constantly. Okay,
don't make me tap the sign.
I'm gonna opposite you.
Okay,
not mostly just opposite you.
Okay.
That's not really a verb.
So just here on Claudio right now.
Yeah. Okay,
and then
we can move on.
Go ahead.
No,
because Benedict and
we need to
Beatrice.
spend some time.
Yep.
So I think that basically, she is going to, her father like doted on her. Her father is giving her everything to, and I think that, like in a good, like he's. I mean, well, then again, he also like tried to kill her. But he, I think she's going to be like, I expect this from somebody. And I think hopefully, this is the opposite game. I'm not sure I really believe this wholeheartedly, but I'm going to play this game.
I'm listening.
She's going to basically never let him live it down. Like until he learns how to treat her, she's going to have her cousin there who's going to be like, girl, no, that is not how he's supposed to treat you. And he almost lost her. And hopefully he's basically going to shift. And he is going to realize like, oh, this is what I want. I think they're going to have children. I do think she's going to go first just so that he can know what it's really like.
Somebody's angry.
But something very, very peaceful. Because hero, just like, you're good. And he's also like, she is very fun loving and very joyful. And I think, she's going to like her life. And he's going to go off, but he's going to always come back.
Okay.
And she's going to be with her cousin and her dad, and it's just going to be like a good life. And she gets to like have a love affair. So that's what I hope for her.
Okay.
And I just hope he like repents, like seriously repents. I also think other people are going to be watching him now because they're like, what did you do?
I would
like, they've got a lot of support.
I would demand a real wedding.
Yeah. Well,
because the first one, he didn't know what he did what he did. The second one, he didn't know he was marrying her. I so would want to redo.
Well, yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe like a vow renewal after she knows. She's like,
actually, you know what? No, I take that back. No vow renewal, nothing like that. It just every time the anniversary rolls around,
it's like, hey, it better be good.
Hey, remember?
It better be good.
Happy anniversary, honey.
Yeah.
Hey, remember that time?
Yeah. Should we be celebrating that day?
Yeah.
Like our first wedding?
Don't worry. This is going to be an ongoing celebration of this day. And that day when I was dead for a day, and then like the other day when you that other thing where like you married me, but it wasn't me.
Yeah. Do you think they're ever going to get to the point of like, funny story about how we met?
I got a question. Did you really worry about whether or not my cousin was a maid? Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Didn't really care about that, did you? No.
Yeah.
And what's this? Nothing. Anyway. Okay. So then.
Yeah. What does that mean?
I mean, I think that like the whole much, I mean, I'm going to say that like a lot of the name and the way everyone acts, like they are kind of making fun of how much drama and we put around love.
Okay.
Like I think that's a lot of what this is, because it's rather dark.
Well, let's think about where all the drama came from.
Yeah,
Keanu Reeves.
Not like acting drama, to be fair. Just
easy jokes.
I know.
No,
I didn't commit. You didn't tell me about this rule. Though
Beatrice and Benedick.
Okay, so Beatrice and Benedick.
Mm-hmm. I think with that,
when did they fall in love?
Well, you know what really makes me sad is the fact that because they gave each other so much crap back and forth, when they actually want to declare their love to one another. So at the end, they are in front of everyone, and then Claudio and Hero are just like, and what about you two? They're just like, what? They said that you loved me. I'm like, no, that's not right. Well, they said you loved me. It's like, no, that's not. And that just makes me so sad because they have an audience. They deny it again when it's just the two of them. So I think what needs to happen with their particular thing. So I think the moment when he says, go be with your cousin. And is when he when he makes the decision that he will challenge Claudio. And when she leaves him, when he says, go be with your cousin, because she's so emotional, but she still decides to walk away. I think that's their moment. That is there's no hearts around them there. This is just like,
there were huge hearts.
No. I'm not talking about like the Robert Sean or the hero Claudio, like, no, this is the whole like hands holding silent moment together of an actual embrace filled with sadness. But because that they're about to walk away into just such a difficult situation away from one another, the hearts, no, this is not like,
I mean, she says
this is a moment, this is a tenderness, this is the moment that one can see it for real. But this is not like the whole little sparkly eyes moments though. But that's where I think it is. That's there's no timestamp joke here. This is the real moment right here. And what were you going to say?
Oh, I think at one point she says, wow, like I was so unhappy and in despair, and you've like, made this during that conversation. Like I feel like the depths of despair and then the height of happiness.
I think that's their moment right there. And afterwards, what I was saying before about like, it's kind of a shame that they get so much crap from their peers. I think what they're going to do is they're going to move off away from the family so they can have their moments together to grow it in a way away from the prying eyes, because it's very easy for you to fall into traps when you're back to certain groups of people. I mean, who you are in front of your family is different from who you are in front of your friends versus your coworkers and all this other stuff, and even like different friends, so I think they decide that for the sake of their very beginning of their marriage together, they're going to kind of go off and travel together. So they're going to do that. But of course, they're going to come back because their time together traveling is going to create a foundation that's based off of more of the drama and instead understanding of one another, a way to function with one another. And then they're going to slowly come back to their groups and bring in the friends who know them as not the ones who were with one another with witty banter, but instead it's just us. And throw it all together so they can have a solid foundation until he goes off and I'm not going to kill him anymore. I'm not going to kill him. No, they're going to have a thing. They're going to have a real thing. And hopefully they're going to be a really good example for Hero and Claudio.
I think when she's going to be really supportive.
When they do have their squabbles, there will be future squabbles because it's not possible for them to not. No. As much as she has a really good trump card with that whole marriage thing, she's still the lesser of the twos in just the whole male-female dynamics. So therefore, there is still going to be some problems that it's going to require wisdom of their cousins.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I think they stand a better chance, like Hero and Claudio, because they have the support of their cousins.
Yeah, I think so. And now I want to know what you think.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really interesting about the moving away.
Just traveling.
Yeah, I think that basically, I mean, this is such a, so I think that they fell in love before the movie starts.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me
because
more.
in the beginning, she kind of said, like, they talk about how these people are coming before they strip down and, bathe in a montage way. And they just basically, and she said, and like everyone sort of leaves and she takes a second to herself and she's like, oh, I knew him before, I've known him for a long time, basically. And it's very uncharacteristic because she's very, people make reference to the fact that she's kind of the life of the party all the time, right? She's like,
oh, that's right.
Always joking, always creating fun, always dancing. Like, she
don't they allude to like how Hero says like she has nightmares, but she'll wake up with a smile.
She wakes up with
and I'm like, whoa, that's heavy.
Yeah,
didn't catch that before.
Yeah, and they and so I think I think it'll take a little while. I think they will have that like jokey, bantery kind of, that kind of sort of friend couples who have that there's sort of like they have to kind of have to move beyond like just just sort of teasing each other in public. Like I think they have jokey. To. Yeah, okay. I think, or just like that thing of like, like sort of being, like kind of always poking at each other. I think they'll settle into, I think that like where they'll get to in their life, their relationship is sort of to be able to be not the fun joker. And that's where all that trust is going to come in. Like maybe she will have, like, I like your idea of like her, maybe they have to go off, but she's like very, she clearly cares so much about her family and her friends. So I think, and I think it's going to be, I wonder, it's going to be hard for her because he is going to go off. Hopefully, it won't be a war for a while, but probably not. That seems unlikely at this time. But like, I think obviously divorce is just not really a thing during this time.
That's why it's hard.
And which is why this is hard. But, and obviously they got married. At the end. So
get thee a wife.
Yeah. I think at first, I think it is going to be weird for them to go from being, like they really are going to have to like renegotiate what their relationship is. But to make fun of each other for so long, they actually know each other very well. Right. So I think this is going to be like, I think they're going to fight a lot, but I think they're going to be happy when they die.
I was going to say, in your scenario, he's going to allow her to be sad.
Yeah.
But then I thought, no, I don't have to put it that way. She's going to allow herself to be sad, and he will be there.
He's creating the space for her to discover that part of herself. Because that's the thing. Like, when she saw that in a moment where she's angry and he's like, understands why she's so angry.
And he doesn't stop her.
He doesn't go calm down. He allows her to have these, he recognizes how sad he is and how important her family is.
Oh yeah.
And that's when you're like, oh, this is a great love story. Like watching the two of them, and they're married at the time, and their just reaction to each other,
and how quickly after they're married and Hero and Claudio are married, how quickly he calls him cousin. Yeah. It's just like, bam.
Like, okay, we're like all in this together, which is, they were very close. So I think there's like a beautiful kind of, so I think that's that. But I'm just saying, like, it is a great love story that way.
Of sorts. Yeah. Because it was there before it happened, but then it grows due to circumstances.
Yeah. But just their way of talking with one another. It's just like some of the sort of love scenes between them, the two where they really confess.
Right.
And they really and really talk about their relationship are really beautiful scenes of two people like wanting to have a real mature relationship, because their reasons for avoiding marriage were like, he's afraid of being cheated on. He's like, oh, I don't really trust myself. I don't really trust women. Like, I
didn't get any of that.
And like, she has to be perfect, but like, I don't really know what perfect is. I forget the line, but he kind of talks. There's like, well, I don't know. It seems like women cheating on you is like the worst thing that can possibly happen in this world. But
I think of all the things I got, I guess he just I love this thou doth protest too much. He's just like, nah, I got it. I thought he just wanted to, sow his.
I get
oats.
that. No, I think he's sort of like, I just not good material. Also, like I don't know. There was a lot, like, because he had that whole speech of like the reasons I don't have a wife.
Oh, I thought his whole thing was like, why would you settle down when you can
do whatever?
Yeah.
I have to reread that. Or
So I myself am actually not one who practices the whole like, well, watch it again because there's so much more to enjoy. I'm like, I don't have time for that. I got to go see the Infinity War, and I got to go see.
I have to admit, there's like, I still haven't seen Black Panther.
Polina has to go see Black Panther.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like I'm just saying these are the things I give up for our audience. No,
hey, you liked this movie.
I liked this movie, and actually, to be fair, I don't sit down and watch it. I like walk around with it. Like I watched it on some of it on the BART. I watched it while I was eating ramen. It's all
you
very
had no
logistics.
idea what was going on.
Well, I mean, I was watching. I wasn't like walking. Yeah. I wasn't walking down the street. If you see anyone walking down the street watching a movie, just slap them. Okay, so yeah,
there it is. We did Shakespeare.
This is totally worth. It's a great movie, and it's really, really worth seeing. And it's on. It's beautiful too. I think we didn't talk about this. It's like it paints a really lovely, summery view
of people who don't have jobs.
People who are I mean, I'm sure they're like princing or whatever it is that you do when you.
I was actually thinking of all the people who are on the grounds.
There's a lot.
Leonardo's place.
Oh, it's very well groomed. And somebody has to wash all those white dresses after the frolicking. There's so many white dresses.
They get to sing while they frolic.
And it's cotton. Like and bleach hadn't been invented. It's like a lot of work.
But their teeth are amazing.
Well, that's the other thing. Then we have somebody. Yeah, there's just
except Michael Keaton.
No, he doesn't.
That's how he was in character.
Yeah,
his teeth were horrible.
So go see this movie.
I think that it's worth your time, honestly, and I really, really do enjoy the 2012 version as well.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
So kind of like we'll revisit, we'll retalk, we'll figure it out. Yeah. All right.
We're not going anywhere.
No, well, except for now. We have to wrap this up. So, okay. So thank you so much for finding us, listening to our ramblings about the Shakespeare.
Yes.
And you can continue the conversation on Twitter. We're at HEAMCast.
HEAMCAST.
And if you want your conversation to be slightly longer, we're on Facebook as well at Happily Ever Aftermath. And like the email we said before, get us at contact@heamcast.com.
There's so many ways. So many ways to contact us.
If you like us, please tell a friend.
Yes. And have them subscribe.
Yeah, you can also subscribe as well because we're on the various platforms. If you are looking for some other amazing podcast, you can hit all the social media channels for #LadyPodSquad.
The best.
Amazing group of lady podcasters. If you are so inclined to like us that much, you rate and review us.
Thank you for everyone who's left a review.
Yeah,
it's
you're
amazing. Like it's too much.
And the offer still stands. If you want to tell us where to send it, if you reviewed us, we'll send you a sticker.
Yes.
Next. Before I forget, I'm going to be on the Cutaways podcast.
Yes. So you don't have to wait as long to see Diana.
To hear Diana. Don't see me. Podcast.
I know, but I'm a very visual person.
You can see me. That's fine. I'm also going to be on this other podcast, Pups and Pop Culture, which I'm very excited about.
I'm talking about my favorite, one of your family members.
Oh, I know.
Apollo
is amazing. And his dad is cool too.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you get to get the exciting announcement.
So the next movie that we're going back into the 80s. It's been a while, but we're back.
Back to the Future?
No.
Okay.
No, but that's a thought.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Pretty creepy.
What? Yeah, you're right. I don't want to talk about it. I don't really even want to rewatch it. I mean, it's fine. It's a fine movie. Please don't hate me if you're like, that's your favorite movie. We're going to be watching Moonlighting.
No, we're not.
I mean, no, we're not. I do this seriously, I do this every time we talk about this movie. Diana makes the same joke about how like
we're watching the movie Twilight, New Moon.
You need to watch all 5 seasons of Moonlighting.
Back in time to the moon landing. Please tell the wonderful
trip to the moon.
Please tell the wonderful people what we're doing next.
We're going back to the 30s, watching A Trip to the Moon. No.
We're going to take you to Denny's and get moon over my hammies.
Oh my God. That was awesome. That is my favorite thing to order at Denny's. And it was on the late night menu. Speaking of the 80s.
Moving on.
Anyway, okay, we're going to watch Moonstruck.
There you go.
Yay! I finally did it. Yes, we got, I think it's our first Nicolas Cage. And also our first share.
You made it to Nicolas Cage before me. Amazing. No, I'm cool. Oh, Ryan's going to be so angry if I try to do a Nicolas Cage impression. And the try is the
well, it's a podcast, so you won't see it.
No, it's never mind. Okay,
so he can be angry all he wants, but you wouldn't.
Half of my face is going to be John Travolta. Half of my face is going to be Nicolas Cage.
You do really like to mention the movie.
It's not a great movie.
It's not a great movie, but it's like really fun. It's fun to talk about.
Thank you so much.
Once again, it's Moonstruck. To be fair, Nicolas Cage. Moonstruck, somewhere in the 80s. I don't want anyone to be watching random moon movies and being really, really pissed. Like super angry.
Be pissed for the right reasons. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right.
Goodbye.
See you next time.